dad told me.
Okay, sorry. You want to go away?
So it's a story that happened to him. He was driving with his friends from a trip back home in India, and I think in this region there's a law where it's like they're not allowed to drive between like 3 a.m. to like 6 a.m. So you're supposed to like stop and like stay somewhere for the night. And his friends and him are out really late driving home, and they have nowhere to stay. And so they like stop at a gas station trying to figure out like their plans on what to do. And this couple approaches them at the gas station, and you know they start to make conversation, and they seem really nice. And the couple's like, "Oh, why don't you like come stay at our place, like you know just for the few hours that you need to be off the road, and then once it hits 6 a.m. you can like you know go back on your way." And they're like, "Oh, this couple seems super sweet," and they take them up on the offer and go to their house.
This is your dad?
Yeah.
Oh.
And his friends. And at this couple's house, they're just like talking, and they seem really nice. And the couple like offers them like some tea to pass the time. It's like very common in India to like give your guests tea and chai. And so they all get like a cup, but I think before they like are able to like drink any of it, like one of his friends like accidentally like knocks over his cup and like makes a huge mess, and then they end up like spending a lot of time cleaning up the mess, and the couple seemed like really angry or like irritated about this, which I guess fair because just like spilled tea in the middle of the night at the house. But anyways, they don't drink the tea, and they like just chat a bit, and then later they like go on their way. And as they're about to leave and they like go to their car, the owner of the gas station like approaches them. He's like, "Hey, did you guys like go to that couple's house?" And they're like, "Yeah, why?" And he was like, "They're like known to like be like doing black magic on people,
what?
And, like voodoo like spells."
Etsy witch.
And he's like, "Don't please tell me you didn't drink their tea."
Oh hell no! Did you spill it?
And then they're like, we didn't drink the tea. It like got spilled." And he's like, "Thank God, because like anyone who drinks their tea has like really terrible things happen to them."
What kind of things?
Like they die.
Oh heck no!
And they're like so scared, and I think that was their lesson, to not talk to strangers in the middle of the night and go to their house.
Wait, that's crazy. So, was it like more of like a curse or something that the people would?
I think so. I think they had negative intentions, like bad intentions.
Wow.
Bad juju.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have one?
I'll have to think. I definitely do.
Jeff, you got one?
That was a good one, Chelsea.
That was good.
That was good.
And it's a true story. Sus.
Ashley, you want to tell yours?
I need the red light.
Here. I don't know how to turn it on.
How do I turn it on? I'm scared.
Just point at your leg and one of the buttons.
Wrong button. Wrong button. Can you hold this and point it at my face? Okay. If you've ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, this comes from that. My dad really liked this story when we were growing up. So every time we would go around the campfire, he would tell us this story, and he would say it was a friend of his. And we believed him. And I still kind of believe him. So there once was this kid who really loved his dog a lot. And he also was, you know, a little wimpy of a kid, but he grew up in a small village outside of a small town similar to this. And this.
Let's keep turning off.
I don't know.
You can hold it?
I am
You
holding.
just press it and don't hold.
You can use this one if you want.
Oh yeah. Whoa, green
less
Christmas.
Right, though.
That's okay. That's better.
Okay.
Okay. Ugh. So it was a very similar town to this, where there was a lake, there were tall trees, beautiful sky in the middle of California, and there was a couple neighbors that they had, but they're kind of far away. And all the neighbor kids used to make fun of this guy. His name was Timmy. And
I
Timmy,
make fun of Timmy.
yeah, unfortunately, Timmy is such an easy kid to make fun of.
Oh,
But Timmy was an oddball. You know, he always wanted to prove himself. So one day, all the kids were talking about this one house that was a little further off the beaten path, but a little broken down. But they were like, well, that house, and it was on a hill, that house is known to be haunted and that no one should go in there. And you know what little Timmy said? Little Timmy said, you know what? I'm going to go into that house because I'm little Timmy and no one can beat me up. I can prove myself. So little Timmy kind of makes his way over there, and all the kids are like, what? This guy's going to go up to the freaky house? So he goes to this freaky house that's down the street, a little off the beaten path. And there's a couple woods surrounding the backside of it. So little Timmy, like I said, loves his dog. So he brings his little wiener dog up there. Little Timmy goes up there. And at first, he walks inside, and it's pretty empty. There's just a fireplace. It's pretty empty on the inside. It's crickety. There's really just a fireplace, a wood mantle, some stone chimney that goes up, and then the rest of the house is wood. And so he's sitting there. He's getting a little freaked out. He hears some creaks there, some snores there, some little whispers and sounds, crickets. And then little Timmy hears a little whisper in the wind. And so little Timmy is freaking out. He's like, what the heck was that? He looks, his dog's fast asleep. So in order to, stop himself from freaking out, he starts to build a little fire into the fireplace. And again, he's just starting to nod off. And he again hears a little louder this time. Little Timmy starts to really freak out. So little Timmy goes out, and he thinks it's the neighbor kid. So he looks out the windows of this place. He opens the door, and he looks out, and there's still nothing. And he's like, okay, that was weird. So he goes back, sits down, and then he hears a Itchy, Kitchy, Holly Wally Dingo. Now he's like, okay, these kids have got to be messing with me. So he runs to the door, opens the door, and he sees something just far away run into the woods. And at this point, he's freaking out. So he sits back down. He keeps his eye only at the door. And this time he's ready. And he hears the whisper, but this time a little lower. So then he runs to the door, opens it up again, and his dog goes running out. And little Timmy is freaking out because he just lost his dog. So now he sits back down. He's too afraid to go out looking for his dog. So he sits back down, and he hears a louder noise. Inchi, Kinchi, Ali Wali Dingo. And then he hears a pitter-patter. And it's towards the front, and he hears more pitter-patters. and it's climbing up the side of the wall, up to the ceiling, and he hears another one. Inji, Kinji, Ali Wali Dingo. And then he hears a slam, and then he hears it fall down the chimney, and he sees something rolling, and it looks like the head of something rolling, and it's his dog's head, and screams, Inchi Kinchi Ale Wale Dingo, and then that's it. That's the end.
That's so sad.
Those kids were assholes. They decapitated his dog.
It was his dog's head that fell down the chimney.
Yeah, that is scary.
Michael, it's your turn.
I can go if you want.
Oh,
Go.
Jeff, it's you.
Okay, so this is a story that I was told by my grandma, who's currently in China right now, and like the actual original story is from my cousin, and it was from when he was like pretty young, and something that he just, told by happenstance, to my grandma. So my grandma and by extension my cousin and extended family are in a province of China called Hunan, and why is my heart beating? And sometimes during the summer seasons, you get like really, really big monsoons. Like I remember when I went to visit during this time, you would get like subway stations or just stairwells be like filled with water, and like you just like see it like flowing down. And so it was one day when my cousin would have to go to cram school after school, and he was heading home. It was like pouring rain, and so at this point in time, I think there was not really great transit infrastructure over there. So what he had to do is he would have to basically put on his boots, put on his coat, take his umbrella, and just walk through the streets, from his school to home. And basically on like the path that he would regularly take home, there was like a road that was actually closed off because, it's like too flooded to walk down. And essentially he had to take like a bit of a different back road back home. And basically, at some point along the path, as he was getting closer to home, there was like, a bus station where basically he'd never taken that bus stop before, and he hadn't seen that bus stop before, but there was a lady kind of waiting at that bus stop, and this lady, she was just like standing there in the rain, sopping wet, hair, fully soaked through.
Oh, heck no.
And she was wearing this like face mask over her face, and as he was just walking by, he just heard a little quiet whisper. He's like, "Am I pretty?" And
Ew.
so my cousin at this point is like really, like, what the hell is going on? Just tries to continue walking, and then, as he's walking away, he hears again, like slightly closer behind him, "Am I pretty?"
Oh God.
And then, he like starts to speed up at this point, rounding the corner, and then out of the corner of his eyes, like he sees the lady take off the mask, and then, he sees like a really, really wide, like unnaturally wide smile on the face.
Oh hell no.
Out of the corner of his eyes, and one last, "Am I pretty?" And
Oh
then,
God.
he's like not even sure that he remembers this correctly. So when he gets home, he like talks to my grandma about this, and so my grandma really, knows a lot of the people in the neighborhood. Like she'll talk to anybody, and she actually said that, there was like a woman in the house right in front of that bus stop who had actually committed suicide
What the?
just like a month earlier. And yeah,
Holy shit! I don't like the smile. Creepy.
but yeah, that's the story I heard.
my
Holy
God.
shit!
That's
Wow.
terrifying.
That was terrifying.
And this is like a fully true story.
Hmm.
Oh my
hell
God.
no.
The unnatural smile.
Oh hell
Yeah.
no.
Could have been like a trick of the light or something, but
Was your grandma like thinking that that character had caused the other person to commit suicide?
I
Or was
mean,
it a ghost of the person who committed?
yeah, the like, best guess is like there's some kind of like negative energy around that house, whether or not like that energy kind of caused the person to commit suicide or if it was like kind of a result of it, you don't really know, but
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So creepy.
That's super creepy.
That is creepy.
Alright, Michael, you got one?
I don't think so. Not yet.
What the
Neha,
heck?
do you have one?
Neha, you got one?
I'm trying to think. I mean, mine might not be as good as your guys's, but I can just try.
Do it.
Okay. I might be kind of making it up on the spot.
no, it's a true
No,
story.
it's a true story.
So it was an evening, like the sun was setting, getting closer to the end of the night. And this guy was kind of driving down a windy road. There was a bit of rain in the distance, and it was a little harder to see. And it was one of those roads where there were not a lot of people on it. It was just kind of him, and he wanted to try to get home before it got dark because he was afraid of being on the road alone when it was dark. And all of a sudden, he sees kind of like this figure, almost like a lady wearing a white dress who looked a little damp from the rain
Sus.
and a little cold and frail, waving at him from the road. And so he wasn't sure if he should pull over to talk to her, but he feels like he should help her, so he pulls over, and she just opens the back door and sits down, and then she whispers an address. And so he believes that it's her home address, so he tries to drive her to that address, and he feels a cold gush of air on him, and he's driving, and then occasionally he'll look in his back rear view mirror, and her face wasn't there, so he assumed she was like
Oh, heck no.
lying down, being tired. He tried to create conversation, but it mainly sounded like very incomplete sentences and kind of like in and out. So he just assumed the girl was tired. They finally got to the address. She got out of the car and ran into the house. The next day, the guy went home, and then the next day he was really confused by the whole situation, so he decided to go back to the house where he dropped the girl off to see if she was there and see if he could talk to her more to understand what was going on. So he drove back, he knocked on the door, and an older woman answered the door, very confused as to who he was. And he explained the situation of how he drove the girl home and what she looked like, what she was wearing, and kind of what she sounded like, and kind of explained her age. And then immediately the older woman broke down in tears, and she said, "The person you're describing sounds exactly like my daughter who passed away a year ago on that road where you picked her up."
Boom, boom, boom.
Was it scary?
Yeah.
Freaky.
Freaky.